7 a.m. coffee with Shanda, ready to rock and roll. Hey, so I want to talk to you about a really important topic this morning, and that is dimming your light for someone else. So I don't know if you have somebody in your life at this point that maybe gives you a bit of a hard time because you're trying to make it happen. You're trying to break barriers in your life and really create a better life for you, your family, or if you don't have children or a husband or a wife, then maybe it's just for you. And at the end of the day, I get these messages all the time where people ask me, how do you deal with your significant other when you have such a drive to create a result in your life? And I just want to share this story without giving any names to the person. So there's a really, really powerful, important woman in my life. And she messaged me, and she's one of many that said, basically, how do you deal with the fact when someone you love, her husband for this sake, really feels, I don't know if I'd use the word insulted, but he's very put off by her need to build a business because what he makes up about that is that she's unhappy with what he has to provide. And this is a really important topic because even if it's not a husband or a wife, it could be a sister, a parent. I mean, I have someone in my family that has 2 children, and one of her children is super uber driven. And she's constantly telling him that he shouldn't work so much. He shouldn't work so much. He shouldn't work so much. And here's what I want to say to that. Everybody has a different journey, and some people have to learn how to work so much to find their passion. Some people need to learn how to create boundaries so that they can focus on their passion. Some people need to learn literally how to just have some level of even work ethic because they always get exhausted. And so I think we need to stop giving advice to each other. I think we need to stop giving advice to each other around how the other person needs to do their business or their life. And I think we need to shift, and we need to start creating agreements. At the end of the day, when my client messaged me about this topic around her husband, again, I hear this all the time. And I have an agreement with my husband, and our agreement is that we never get in the way of each other's purpose. And I was sharing with my client, I said, she has children. I said, either you're going to break the barrier for your family, you're going to break the habit, the DNA, whatever you want to call it. It's never usually just started with you. If you look behind you, you can see evidence of other women or men or examples that have caused you to think this way and even settle for it. So when you have a big purpose on this planet and you find that you have this pull to work and to drive, let's not make it about a job, because a job doesn't pull you forward. And by the way, what I mean by that is not entrepreneurship or having a career in corporate. I think they're both amazing routes. I've said this for years, if you're in corporate, I know friends who are in corporate jobs and they have a pull towards it. It is a purpose for them, right? That's why they put everything they have into it. It's a purpose for them. But then there's a job that you just go and you just clock a clock. And just like the crossing guard at the airport the other day, and I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I'm just counting down the hours." That's a job. That's a job. And so when someone is living a purpose or a passion, you have to realize that it's kind of like cutting off your arm and walking through life with one arm when you don't have to walk through life with one arm when somebody's trying to pull you down. And I don't believe that people are necessarily, I don't think my client's husband is trying to pull her down. Whatever she's doing with trying to pursue her career, and she crushes it, by the way, that pull is triggering something else inside of him. That pull is triggering something else inside of him. And sorry, my puppy dog, who is going to training very soon. I can't wait. But that pull is triggering something in my client's husband. And you have to have compassion for that. I think often we get mad and we start to fight for our right to work, to pursue our passions. And what if we just stopped and looked and realized that the people that are pulling us down, not intentionally, but are pulling us down and making it very wrong for us to pursue our passions, our careers, our purposes, our purpose. They're like, if you can look at them like a wound just got opened, and when a wound gets opened and the thing that you're doing to pursue the career is actually hurting the wound. And so I'm not saying in any shape or form should you ever dim your light, because for them to break through, you have to turn around and stop fighting for the right to work. And you need to look at the person with compassion and love and be like what you're asking me to do is shut down a part of me. Like, this isn't a job to me. This is a passion. This is a purpose. I can't shut this down. Like, it's not going to go away. So it's either we find an agreement that works or, this package is ended. You'll get depressed. I mean, you'll get depressed if you shut down parts of yourself. I said to my client, I said, she has a daughter, and I said, could you imagine, first of all, what you would say to your daughter that was ever holding herself back and not pursuing something that lit her up? I mean, why is growing a business any different than like being a great pianist in the world? Like, why is like working hard in school as a kid more important than working hard as an adult? Why is that more important? It's not, right? So finding your passion and going after it 100% is really freedom. And when it triggers someone else, I don't want you to fight the other person. I really don't. I mean, doesn't make you any better when you fight the other person. But you have to know that you might have to walk a hard road with a few people to figure out how to land with them. We have a training called Hardcore Leadership. And I said to my client, she's been through Hardcore Leadership, and I said, either you're going to stand up and style flex now, which is something we teach, which is learning how to land with multiple different styles of people, or your daughter's going to be in the training room working it out saying, my mom dimmed her light. And now the burden will be on her to break that barrier. The burden will be on her. So I don't know if you have children or you don't have children, but what I do know is that your life is more important than anything. And we free people up when they have triggers around us. We free people up when we can love them back and say, look, this part of me is never going away. I said to my husband, never make me choose between you, my family, and my business. Because I said, with love, you will lose that battle. Because I will look at you as becoming the person that is causing the problem versus someone who runs with me through life and says, how do we create a new agreement? My life changes all the time. As our company grows, life changes. The funny thing is I actually get more time. That's the crazy thing. I thought when this company would grow to, wherever it grows, but to the level that it is now, I mean, I thought when it grew this, it would actually mean that I had more work. Now, I will say to you, I don't have a lot of time for chit chat during the day. I don't surf the internet. I don't surf Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't surf those things. I go on them to watch shows that I want to watch that are important. It's like basically how I get my personal development, my news, whatever, but it's contracted because I follow people like me who are actually doing regular shows. So it's not random, because if you're random, I won't follow you because I don't surf. So I don't have time for surfing. I don't have time for just chit chat, random chit chat during the day. And honestly, I don't even have time for a friend to just randomly call me during the day. But I do have 3 o'clock in the afternoon on for my family, my friends, my exercise, my life. I have the last week of every month where I don't have work, where people can call me randomly. I take off 5.5 months a year. When you add up my weekends, my month off, my last week of the month, I take off 5.5 months. That's incredible. It's incredible. I don't believe in work-life balance, but I do think I have the closest thing to it. But when I work, I work. You get what I'm saying? The things that I had the luxury to do, which honestly served me nothing, it served me no true value. I don't have the time to do other than I would love to chat with my friends randomly throughout the day, but it's just not what I'm up to because I'm so crazily on fire about my purpose and I get that I matter. And so I look at you and I propose to you today, whatever you're doing with today, I hope it's on fire. I hope that it's on fire and you are working a career or building a company that really lights you up. Because although friends, kids, husbands, spouses are uber important and should never be neglected, they're not the only thing for some of us. For some of us, we have a call and we have a pull. And if we don't pursue that, we waste time. And if you're a woman, women hate to waste time. We hate it. We absolutely hate it. So I hope that you're using today to really pursue something that's valuable for you. And if someone is getting in the way, and I don't mean that like they're intentionally doing it, but if someone is holding you down and you feel guilty about working or about growing, then honestly, you have to stop for a second and you have to create an agreement with that person. You have to create an agreement. At one point in my life, I had to create an agreement with my mother that she stopped worrying publicly to me. She had to stop saying to me when I was growing my business that she was worried about me, because every time she did that, because she's an influence in my life, it would get inside my head. I had to create an agreement. And if my mom wouldn't abide by that agreement, then I would find other ways to land with her until she did. And finally I did. I actually had to call her one day and I had to ask her to just listen to me. I said, Mom, I don't call you and talk about my relationship life. This was when I was dating, not married. I don't call you and talk to you about my dating because somehow you always make me wrong for leaving the relationship. And I'm on my path. And I said to my mom, I want to have a close connected relationship with you where I call you about everything. But you have to understand that you have a huge influence in my mind. And when you say things that I know you're trying to worry about me and you want me to get married and have children, like be financially independent. I know you want all these things for me, but the way you chose to live your life and the way I choose to live my life is different. And I need you to believe in me, not to set seeds of worry. And I said, and the reason why I'm telling you this, so I learned how to land with her. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I want to tell you everything going on in my life. I want you and I to have the relationship that we call each other all the time and light each other up. And we have that close relationship. My mom got it. She didn't get it until I put it in the vision and the context of selling the benefits to her, which was having a really connected relationship. But I couldn't leave it at connected because I tried to say that before and it never landed. I had to keep going back in until I actually painted the vision for her of me calling her about everything, including my relationship life. So look at the people who possibly are holding you back and let's not make them wrong about it. Let's actually be strong leaders in our lives and not cut people out because we say that they're cancer when maybe they're not. Maybe you just haven't figured out how to land with them in a way, and maybe they actually really do care about you. And that the way that they show up and show that they care about you doesn't work for you. And so you got to find a way to create an agreement. So here's what I've learned about life. I have not had anybody that I've had to cut out of my life. There's nobody that I've had to cut out of my life. That's just my story. Doesn't mean that your story is something different. So I'm not saying that I get it. Like I have a friend who I really respect who literally has not been able to land with someone and has to cut somebody out. I don't love that, but I am the holy optimist leader. And I've developed a very strong mind I won't go into the conversation that will hurt me with someone until I figure out how to land with them instead of cutting them out. So again, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying that there's probably some people in your life that may be holding you back. And when you distanced yourself from them instead of staying close to them and learn how to land with them, and then you find that you'll miss them because there is a part of you that loves them. So that's kind of the point that I'm talking into today. The last point is you just can't dim your light. You just can't. You can't waste your time. You can't dim your light. You can't allow, whether it's a husband, a wife, a child, you cannot allow anybody to stop you from soaring as high as you're supposed to soar. If you have that calling, I believe that is directly from God. And that means if I know anything about my relationship with God, I am going to follow that part. I'm going to follow that Father. And just like your children, if your children break up with you or your children have a rub with you, it doesn't make it easy for them and it doesn't make it easy for you. And so I follow that relationship first. And so I believe if you have been anointed with a calling to do something really big, then you better get your ass with a coach that can coach you, and you better stay close. You better get coached. You better pay for whatever access you need to pay for to stay close, and you better create the result that you are supposed to create. And do not allow anybody to hold you down, which means you might need to put in some effort and explain what this is, what this calling is, and that it's not going away and you're not going to shut it down. And so what's the other agreement? And love somebody into partnership. A great thing to ask is, what is this really about? Because this isn't going away in me. That would be like asking me to change my personality, and that's not going away. So what is this really about? What is this triggering in you? And put your love on somebody else to have a breakthrough. And I'm going to tell you, the sky's the limit at that point, because you'll not only free yourself, but you'll also free them. All right, you guys, this is the end of Coffee with Shanda today. I'm going to go lead a selling retreat today and show a bunch of people how to land with their ideal client so that they can help people walk over, across, and under their walls to be able to say yes to something they really want that my clients provide as a service. Talk to you soon, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Bye.